नाउ सिंस दिस न्यूज़ इज़ ऑन एयर, जहाँ पे यू कैन सी दिस इमेज, हमारे पीएम मोदी ने साइप्रस विजिट किया था. दिस पर्सनालिटी, ही इज़ द प्रेसिडेंट ऑफ साइप्रस, निकोस क्रिस्टोडोलिडस. एंड ये जो यहाँ पे चल रहा है, विच इज़ PM Narendra Modi has been presented the highest civilian order of Cyprus, which is the Grand Cross of the Order of Macarius III. This is the Grand Cross of the. Now, ये Macarius III कौन है? He was the first president of Cyprus after the independence. Alright, so this was the entire news. Prime Minister Narendra Modi ने Cyprus visit किया था, and we'll just quickly understand how much important is Cyprus for us. पहले समझते हैं कि Cyprus का strategic location क्या है, why is it so much important for India. See, here is Cyprus. These are the, see, it is a total island nation, and these are the nations that are neighboring nations through water. Like this is the Turkey, this is Syria, this is Lebanon, this is Jordan, Israel, Libya, and इजिप्ट. ऊपर जाएंगे तो यहाँ पे मिलेगा हमको ग्रीस, ये एरिया मिल जाएगा हमको इटली. एंड द मेन इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग इज अबाउट द वाटर बॉडीज प्रेजेंट इन हियर. दिस इज द गल्फ ऑफ अंटेलिया, एंड दिस एंटायर सी इज नोन एज द लेवेंटीन सी. लेवेंटीन सी के बाद यहाँ पे आ जाता है सी ऑफ क्रेट और सी ऑफ क्रेटे जिसको बोलते हैं. This part is Sea of Crete. This is the Gulf of Antalya, and here is the Aegean Sea. See, Mediterranean Sea के सारे different types of seas जितने भी हैं, they are very much important, जो कि frequently exams में पूछे जाते हैं. This is the Libyan Sea, and this is the Gulf of Sidra. This part, this is the Gulf of Sidra, and this is of course the Mediterranean Sea यहाँ पे. Alright, so this was all about the water bodies. Moving on to the relations, we'll understand the historical ties first. See, India and Cyprus, they established a formal diplomatic relation in 1962. This all happened in 1962. Formal relations, they started in 1962 because Cyprus gained independence from the British rule, first of all, in 19 in 1960. And the only similarity between both the nations is this, that they both share a history of colonial struggle, both India and Cyprus. And this actually laid the foundation for a stronger bond. इसके बाद क्या होता है, साइप्रस के जो फर्स्ट प्रेसिडेंट होते हैं आर्च बिशप मैकारियस थ्री, ही विजिटेड इन 1962 इंडिया को. यहाँ पे दिस फॉर्मल रिलेशन स्टार्टेड बिकॉज द फर्स्ट प्रेसिडेंट वाज द आर्च बिशप मैकारियस थ्री. And the reason being, they both connected through the non-aligned movement. From the both, I'm talking about Macarius III and Jawaharlal Nehru, the then Prime Minister of India in 1962, through the non-aligned movement. Now, इस non-aligned movement में क्या होता है? They both opposed the Cold War alignments and supported the anti-colonial nations. Since both the nations, they shared a history of colonial struggle, that's why they now oppose the Cold War alignments, and now they support the anti-colonial nations. This was about the historical ties, and this relationship actually strengthened further when India supported Cyprus during the 1974 Turkish invasion. हुआ क्या था in 1974? So India supported Cyprus during the Turkish invasion, and they actually India supported by openly backing Cyprus sovereignty at the United Nations. उस टाइम पे ये बात यूनाइटेड नेशंस में जब डिस्कस हो रही थी तो इंडिया टुक सपोर्ट ऑफ साइप्रस. Alright, so this was all about the historical ties. Now we'll move further towards the geographical relations. See, यहाँ पे you can see that Cyprus is a strategic eastern Mediterranean location near the Suez Canal. यहाँ पे if I zoom here, this is the Suez Canal, and यहाँ पे ही this acts as a very strategic eastern Mediterranean. See, this is the Mediterranean and this is the eastern Mediterranean Sea. Because Suez Canal से ही almost इंडिया का सारा trade to the Middle Eastern and European Union Suez Canal के through होता है. So that's why Cyprus is very much strategically important for India. See, first of all, it is located in the East Mediterranean, and it is to the south of Turkey and to the west of Syria and Lebanon. And it lies near the Suez Canal, which is world's most crucial shipping routes because this location gives Cyprus geopolitical significance as a gateway between Europe, West Asia, and Africa. So this acts as a gateway. And for India, it serves as a strategic observation post for the maritime activity and as a potential launchpad into the EU market. Alright, so this was all about the geographical relations. Now we'll move towards the political relations. As far as political relations is concerned, both support each other in the United Nations non-alignment movement and the global forums. India has been consistently supported Cyprus's reunification efforts. This was this was especially during and after the 1974 crisis when the island was divided into Greek and Turkish sectors. In turn, Cyprus supports India's position on Kashmir and strongly backs India's bid for a permanent seat at the UN Security Council. And at multiple non-aligned movement summits, the leader of both countries they reiterated their support for sovereignty, non-violence, and mutual respect as well. Also, Cyprus supports the India-United States Civil Nuclear Agreement and also supporting India within the Nuclear Supplies Group, which is NSG, and the International Atomic Energy Agency, which is IAEA, and the International Atomic Energy Agency. So we can see that Cyprus has been a very friendly nation to India, supporting India's stance on Kashmir, supporting the United Nations Security Council permanent seat, supporting the India-United States Civil Nuclear Agreement, the NSG, and the IAEA. All right. So now moving further, we have the high-level visits. We have the. I'll just quickly add the pictures below. All right. So starting with 1962, we had the President Macarius III, who visited India at the time of Jawaharlal Nehru, and this is at the time of 2002 when our then Prime Minister Atal Bihari Vajpayee ji he visited Cyprus, and this was for the last time since now. You can see the President Tassos Papadopoulos who visited India. This is the President and this is Manmohan Singh, and he is the legendary icon, Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. And they actually came to strengthen tax and IT cooperation. Then the next visit happened in 2015 when our Vice President Hamid Ansari he visited Cyprus and discussed about the education, pharma, and global governance reforms. All right, and the next formal visit happened in 2017 when President Nikos Anastasiades he met Prime Minister Modi and signed key MOUs in agriculture, air services, merchant shipping, and culture. And finally, in 2025, Prime Minister Narendra Modi he visited Cyprus, and this actually happened for the first time after 23 years. Because see, दिस मीटिंग हैपेंड यहाँ पे प्रेसिडेंट साइप्रस के प्रेसिडेंट इंडिया आए थे, यहाँ पे वाइस प्रेसिडेंट गए थे, सो दिस वाज नॉट अ वेरी फॉर्मल मीटिंग. यहाँ पे भी इन 2006 ऑल्सो जो साइप्रस के प्रेसिडेंट है वो इंडिया आए थे. एंड फाइनली इन 2002 दिस वाज द लास्ट फॉर्मल मीटिंग ऑफ प्राइम मिनिस्टर ऑफ इंडिया उनके साइड से जो साइप्रस जाके मिले थे. एंड आफ्टर दिस सीधा 2025 में पीएम नरेंद्र मोदी विजिटेड साइप्रस फॉर द फर्स्ट टाइम. Alright, so this was all about the high level visits of India and Cyprus. Next, we'll move towards the trade and investment relations. Alright, so this is the map right here. I'll just quickly jot down the trade routes and maritime access. Alright, so we'll take an example. As a ship, a trade ship from Mumbai is leaving to Cyprus, right here in Cyprus. So, first of all, the shortest route possible or the main significant route that we follow is to go through the Arabian Sea. This is the Arabian Sea to the Gulf of Aden, and here we have the strait, the famous strait, which is Bab el Mandeb Strait. This is the Bab el Mandeb Strait. After that, it moves through the Suez Canal. After passing to the Red Sea, here is the Suez Canal, and then it goes to the Mediterranean Sea, and then finally to Cyprus, and then to the other parts of the nation like the EU or the North African regions. So this is the entire trade route or the maritime axis from India to Cyprus. Now, in terms of what we trade, we'll just quickly write it down. The India's exports to Cyprus. So the exports to Cyprus they include pharmaceutical products, electrical machinery, mechanical appliances, iron and steel, and organic chemicals as well. And now talking about India imports from Cyprus. Now, in the imports, we have base metals, primarily copper alloys, and then ships and marine vessels, and other investments, funds, and financial services, and optical and surgical instruments as well. Now, moving on to the defense corporations, we have growing talks like maritime security, anti piracy, and cyber security. While India and Cyprus are increasingly engaging in dialogues on defense and security cooperation, especially in naval security and anti piracy patrols across the Eastern Mediterranean. Also, as India expands its naval footprint westwards, Cyprus can act as a strategic docking and refueling ally in the Mediterranean. Next, moving forward, we have the culture and education, where festivals like Diwali and Holi are celebrated by both the Indian diaspora and locals. There's rising interest in yoga, Indian cuisine, and Bollywood films as well. And the Cypriot universities are becoming attractive to Indian students pursuing hospitality, medicine, and business degrees as well. While India also offers scholarships through ICCR, and both sides promote academic exchange programs. And at the last, we have the future opportunities. And in this, we can include renewable energy, fintech, logistics, and the EU corridors. See, in renewable energy, we can include the solar and offshore wind farms. And as Cyprus acting as a fintech hub for Indian startups which are entering Europe. And in logistics, we can add with the Indian Middle Eastern Europe Economic Corridor, which is the IMEC being planned. Cyprus could serve as a key logistics hub for shipping Indian goods into the European faster and more efficiently. All right, so finally, we can add few more points as one more important thing we can do is strategic importance for India. We can add the key points such as the EU foothold, the Suez Axis, and the gateway to Europe and West Asia. As Cyprus helps India in gaining a political and trade foothold inside the European Union. And secondly, we can say it expand naval influence in the Eastern Mediterranean and also to access Western markets more directly through a friendly ally. And the most important point that we can add here is about the EU Council presidency in 2026, which can be a diplomatic lever for India to push key trade and migration reforms as well as advocate for India EU FTA negotiations, free trade agreement negotiations. Alright, guys, this was it. As the global order shifts and the EU looks eastward, India finds in Cyprus not just a partner but a platform.